Tennessee has now become the first American state to pass a ban on public drag performances that could be seen by minors. Since the beginning of this year, at least 32 bills just like these have been filed in 16 other states. Drag entertainers in Canada have been watching the news south of the border with fear and dread. One of them is Chris Cochran, a black trans activist, educator, and performer. And you perform as El Noir, and you were voted the best drag artist in Halifax for the last 5 years. So what are you feeling watching what's happening in some states south of the border?
I feel like it's most of like a dystopian times because, like The Handmaid's Tale, I had to stop watching it because reality was starting to become a little too close to fiction. So I'm starting to feel worry for what Canada is coming with.
Yeah, and it's fair because many Canadians, have signed a petition calling on the federal government to offer asylum to American trans and non-binary people. Why do you feel that's important to get an asylum bill passed maybe as soon as possible?
Well, as a trans black person, I know what it's like to feel unwanted, unliked in the community. And that's what it is. It's a community. Just because there's a border in between us does not mean that it stops at the border. We have to make sure that our whole community is taken care of. And if we are going to be the nation that we say we are, we have to make sure that the asylum is open and that people can come to our country and feel safe and feel that they can be themselves.
Last weekend, a drag queen storytime event at the Moncton Library drew two crowds, so one in support, one in protest. The same day, police were on standby in Halifax after a social media uproar around an event where drag artists, including yourself, were reading books to kids, painting faces. This is happening across the country because since the beginning of this year, there have been in-person and online protests at drag events in Calgary, Coquitlam, Montreal, Moncton. Do you feel safe in Canada right now?
I like to say we have this thing in Canada called polite ignorance, where we like to pretend we don't have homophobia, transphobia, racism, misogyny, all of those things, or we say we're not as bad as United States, or, the worst is when they say, oh, well, you could be killed in other countries. If that's the baseline, that's not really a great way to start. And no, actually, last week was the first time in a long time that I did not feel safe leaving my house. I was getting death threats. People tried to dox me. People called my work and trying to get me fired, which is ironic because I actually work for the Youth Project, which works with US LGBTQIA youth. So for somebody who's been doing drag for 18 years and have been out for over 20, it's really strange to feel like almost like you have to go back into a closet. I mean, I never am going to do that, but I don't want to ever feel like I can't leave my house with fear of not living. No one should have to live in fear, I think, in that way. And we talk about that. You mentioned it, too, not feeling safe. Hate crimes against the LGBTQ2+ community been on the rise in Canada between 2019. We have some stats here. A 64% increase in just 2 years targeting sexual orientation. So when we talk about the community and we talk about you not feeling safe, what's the biggest fear when it comes to safety and your rights in this country? For me, it's a lot of these organizations that come against the community, and sometimes even within the community, such as the LGB group, who do not believe that trans people should be in the community. It's very disheartening, and it's very unwelcoming. I sometimes feel like I'm doing so much to make sure that the community is safe and supported, but if there's somebody like me out there, there's definitely somebody on the other side who's pushing back and making sure that we're not being seen and that we're not being heard. And mine is the expectancy rate of trans person of color in North America is 35. I'm 2 years past my expectancy rate. And in 2021, there was over 376 trans women of color killed in North America alone. And that's documented because most of them are not documented because we're thought of as less than.
Really alarming stats this morning, but Chris Cochran, we appreciate you taking some time this morning for us.
Thank you so much. I just want to make sure that everybody knows that Canada is what it is, but we are here to make sure that you are feeling safe and that you are known that you are okay.
Appreciate that.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you liked this, be sure to subscribe here, or you can check out more Your Morning videos right here.